Hello again, Year 6, and welcome to another Year 6 Maths meeting. As always, you need something to write with and something to write on. We've got more new characters coming up this week. All right, let's get started with knowing what Noah knows. Noah's going to use related facts to solve these tricky-looking problems. Pause your video and off you go. All right, let's see how we got on. Now, having a look at this first example, 0.8 multiplied by 70, we're going to use the related fact of 8 multiplied by 7. The answer is 56. Now, because I'm doing 0.8 multiplied by 7t, my answer is still 56. 0.8 is 10 times smaller than 8, but 70 is 10 times greater than 7. My answer will stay the same. Well done if you spotted that one. Another way to check is with a simple estimate. 0.8 is almost 1. 1 times 70 is 70. I need an answer as close to 70 as I can with my related fact. 56 is the closest number I can make to 70. It's a good way to check. Let's have a look at the second example. I've got 0.3 and I'm going to multiply it by 12. I'm going to use the related fact of 3 times 12 is 36. But I've got 0.3, 10 times smaller than the 3 I used. 3.6 is your answer. Great job on that one, Year 6. Moving on to Fahim's factors. How many factors does 36 have? Pause your video and have a go. All right, let's have a look. When I see factors, I draw bugs. You're right, Year 6. We need a factor bug to find these factors. So I've got 36 in my factor bug, and I'm going to write down the factor pairs for 36. Systematically, that gives me 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 5 is not a factor of 36, so I'll move on to 6. And well done if you spotted that 36 is a square number. 6 times 6 is equal to 36. We only write it down as a factor once. Well done if you spotted it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 36 has 9 factors. Great job if you spotted that one, Year 6. All right, moving on. We met Percy Percent last week. Percy Percent knows that percent means out of 100. Percy Percent knows the percent symbol. And Percy Percent knows one more thing. Pause your video and write down the other fact that Percy Percent uses. All right, let's see if you've got it. Did you write down that Percy knows a percentage is a fraction? Well done if you remembered that one. So let's move on to solving these with Percy. Percy wants to find 25% of 16, and Percy wants to find 20% of 60. Pause your video, use your related facts, and off you go. Okay, let's see how we're getting on. Percy knows that 25% is equal to 25 hundredths, and that simplifies down to a quarter. 25% means 1/4. 25% of 16 is the same as finding a quarter of 16. 16 divided by 4 is equal to 4. Moving on to 20%. Now Percy knows that 20% is 20 over 100. Cancelled down, that's 2/10, but simplified as far as it can go is 1/5. 20% is equal to 1/5. 1/5 of 60, well, that's just 60 divided by 5, and that gives us 12. Great job if you found those. All right, moving on. Priya's prime factors. Prime. P-R-I-M-E. My only factors are 1 and me. We're looking for numbers which are prime. Numbers which only have a factor 1 and itself. We're also looking for factors, a number which can divide into a number without any remainders. We're looking for prime factors. A quick reminder, Priya's prime factor tree. All right, now it's your turn. Pause your video and find the prime factors of 70 and then 25. Off you go. Okay, let's see how you got on with these ones. Let's start with 70. I'm going to split 70 into factor pairs and ideally ones which are prime as well. So I'm starting with the fact that I know that 10 times 7 is equal to 70. And I'm going to circle the number 7. It's prime and a factor, it's a prime factor. 10, on the other hand, is composite, not prime. So we split 10 into factors. I'm using the fact that I know that 2 times 5 is equal to 10, and 2 and 5 are prime factors. Now I just list them. 2, 5, 7 are the prime factors of 70. Moving on to 25. I use the fact that 5 times 5 is equal to 25. Oh, and they're both prime. 5 and 5, they are the prime factors of 25. And well done if you spotted, they could also be written as 5 squared. 5 times 5. Really great prime factor work, everybody. We'll keep Priya on our list this week so we can really practice these prime factors. All right, moving on to Al and Ali. Al and Ali are our new characters this week, and Al and Ali love algebra. Algebra uses letters or other symbols in place of values. Algebra plays with letters and symbols using special rules. Okay, let's cover that up and see if we can remember something about algebra. Pause your video and write down what algebra is. All right, let's see what you've remembered. Algebra uses letters or other symbols in place of values. Algebra plays with letters and symbols using special rules. All right, let's have a look at algebra in action. Al and Ali have a fact that n is equal to 12. So whenever you see the letter n, replace it with the value 12. So have a go at solving 2n and n squared. Pause your video and have a go. All right, let's see how you got on. Looking at this first one, 2n, I use the fact that 2n means 2 lots of 12. See how the number 2 is right next to the letter? That means I multiply them. 2 lots of 12 is equal to 24. 2n is equal to 24. Let's have a look at the next one. N squared. When I see n, I put in the value 12. N squared is the same as 12 times 12. 12 squared. That gives me 144. N squared is 144. Well done if you got those, Year 6. Al and Ali will be coming up all this week. Don't worry, we'll be practicing. All right, time for Tilly times across. Pause your video and multiply these fractions. All right, let's see how we're getting on. Tilly knows that she can just multiply across to times these fractions, multiplying the numerators together and then multiplying the denominators together. Tilly's going to times across. 6 times 4, and then 7 times 9, to give us 24 63rds. Well done, Year 6. All right, we're on to formal Phyllis, featuring Esther and her mates. Phyllis is going to set up a formal written method, but Esther and her mates are going to make sure that we know what the answers should look like before we get started. So pause your video, and off you go. All right, let's see how we got on. Esther and her mates have said, round your number up to about 600 and multiply it by about 80. 6 times 8 is 48, and then it's 10, 100, 1,000 times bigger. My answer needs to be somewhere near 48,000. Now we've estimated, we set it up into formal method. 568 multiplied by 84 Notice we're multiplying by a 2-digit number, so now it's long multiplication, and I set it up. One more thing to remember, that 0 is a placeholder. Now we get started. Let's multiply those ones. 4 times 8 is equal to 32, regroup. 4 times 6 is equal to, well, I've got to add on that 3, so 27 now. 4 times 5, don't forget my regroup, gives me 22, in a total 2,274. Now moving on, we're multiplying by 80, but because I have my 0 as a placeholder, I can use multiplying by 8 now. 8 times 8 gives me 64, regroup. 8 times 6, and add on the regroup, 54. 8 times 5, remembering to add on that regroup. And now I add these together. 47712, 47,712. Let's have a look back at our estimate, 48,000, and let's have a look at our answer, roughly 47,000. Looks good to me. Well done, Year 6. Another fabulous maths meeting. Remember, you can always go back and practice these again. I'll see you next time, Year 6.